Hey guys, Anthony here from XXRC Garage. So, there's been an issue with, according to what I've seen, I don't think it's an every Gen 8 issue, but there's been an issue. The axles. People have been having a problem with the axles snapping and breaking, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so here I have a Gen 8 Scout 2. And I'm just going to go ahead and pull the body off for now. Make it a little easier. What I'm going to show you is the issue that we've been seeing, and again, not on everybody's truck, but where the axles go together right here. This is considered the outer portal housing, and then this is the inner housing. So what happened on my orange one was when I had got this tire caught and I was trying to torque out through it, it literally ripped all the 3 screws that are in here out. So I was trying to figure like what would be a good solution. Obviously the portals on the TRX4 is a little bit different, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So one of my ideas was either A, spend $80 and buy in the metal housings, center housings, and just bolt the plastic to it. And that should hold it in place, because these are not what's failing, it's the center part that's failing. Some other guys made comments about taking them apart and actually putting like a glue or an epoxy in there and then putting them back together. I mean, truthfully, you can do that. Only downfall to that is you will be replacing all 3 pieces if you do that come time to whatever you need to do. So far there hasn't been a failure from what I see on the front axles. It's just always been the back axle. Okay, so, and just understand me, I'm not here to bash Redcat. Redcat's great, but of course the designs are not allowed to do 100% exact designs. So what I'm holding here is a TRX4 Sport axle. Now the cool part about this is where the portals on the Redcat, like I told you, you literally have to, this is your portal cover. Well, on Redcat's got the same thing, but you have to take that whole portal cover off, and once you take the cover off, then you can have access to the 3 screws to take apart the portal. On the TRX4, all you do is you take off this screw, and this portal comes off. This comes off, but then this housing here is bolted on here. And I think the difference between the two is they put the stress further towards the portal, not like way over here like Redcat did. You can see the difference. Redcat put it way here, so now you've got all this distance for flex versus here. Okay guys, so the comparison I'm trying to explain here is, here's a pencil. Okay, if I wanted to break this pencil in half, all I had to do is grab it here and snap it. Okay, so if I wanted to break off the eraser, and it would be a lot harder to break off because it's so close to the edge. So what I'm getting at is, this would be like trying to break off the Traxxas one, and then if I was to put my thumb right here, that would be breaking off the Gen 8 one. What I'm getting at is, if they would move that connection more towards the end on the Gen 8s, I think there would be less axle issues. So, or at least actual housing issues. I also believe too, it also has a lot to do with the the product they use. I think the plastic, polymer, whatever you want to call it, they use. I think that Traxxas has always been into the bashing, you know, with the E-Revos and the T-Maxes and now the X-Max. And so I think they've got their plastics, if you want to call it that, to where they flex, they're stronger, they work better. And I think the growing pain for Traxxas, I mean for Redcat, is they probably may not be there yet, but I still think if you did glue the parts here in there, I think you're not going to have an issue. But I think that also the big issue here too is the from front axle to back axle, because you can see the difference. Like here's the portal, the front portal, that literally bolts right here. This portal bolts right here, and I think that's why there hasn't been a failure with the steering axle. The reason I have these axles is because I had a brainstorm of putting TRX4 axles underneath the Gen 8, and I did. And did it work? Yeah, it worked. I mean, I had to reverse the receiver, or I mean the radio. I had to reverse it because from what I understand, Traxxas motor runs backwards. So these axles are geared backwards versus the Gen 8. And so these axles were, and I had installed them and ran them like a couple times under my orange one. You see the Redcats are back underneath. And they worked. It's just that the thing is I think my motor was working twice as hard to make this thing go fast, because it wasn't going fast. It was going pretty slow. It was almost like having a 55 turn motor on a crawler. And I don't know if you ever, so for some of you guys who've never done that, you'll know what I'm saying, how slow that is. I mean, great torque and all that. I just wanted my truck to be able to have a little bit of a, you know, if I needed to get out of a spot. And so, but anyway, this is the actual comparisons between the Redcat versus the Traxxas. The other reason I believe that the Traxxas was a little slower is because if you look at the size of the diff cover here, and you can see here that I think the gear was bigger versus the gear, the diff gear in here. And so I think what happened in that case was smaller gear ratio, more torque at the same time, but I don't know, it just seemed to be very slow for me. If you're not into the fast, I mean, you can do this. There were some changes I had to do to make it work, especially with the steering here. Like you can see, I got this partial one here right now. I got the original steering arm in here, which I'm going to put back and take this piece off here. And it's just because I had to do a readjustment as far as that goes. Also, on the panhard, there had to be some slight adjustments for the panhard. And so that's kind of what happened in that situation. I'm going to go back and pull some video, and I'll put it in this video. Thank you for watching, and I really appreciate all the subscribers. I really do. You guys have been amazing. People have been subscribing. I'm probably gaining 2 to 3 a day. I really thank you for subscribing. I thank you for sharing my videos with other people so they subscribe too. I really appreciate that. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and please remember, have fun with RCs.